Hi, welcome to Myers ASMR. How are you? Relax, relax. I'm always glad to see you. Please know that there's never a situation in which there's no way out. There's never a situation in which there's no way out. And I just made this roasted squash with rosemary and olive oil, and I certainly don't want a way out of this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. That one I cut large like that because I was trying to make sure it all fit into my pan. So, I have not tried it yet, so let's go. Oh, it's so nice and soft. I love that. So nice and soft. I'm not even sure what type of squash this is. Maybe somebody knows. I think it's butternut, but it wasn't the shape of butternut. Yeah, that's really good. It's slightly sweet. And I taste the salt that I put on it, and I was thinking that it didn't even need salt. So this is just olive oil topped with salt, pepper, and rosemary. And it's delicious. It's so easy. I mean, it's too easy to make. It just takes time. This was in a 400-degree oven for about an hour. At the half an hour mark, I took it out of the oven to turn each piece over. You want to make sure the whole thing is evenly done and nothing gets burnt or hard on the bottom. I didn't get all the seeds out, so that's interesting. I wonder how those seeds taste. Nah. People do eat pumpkin seeds, though. Actually, I do. I'm hesitating when I bite it because it's still hot from the oven. Yep, skin on potatoes. When you roast the potato, the flavor comes out better. Like, I can really taste squash is such a no-brainer, easy meal, and it is a little hard to cut. I used my biggest knife and it was still hard, so you don't even need to cut it. You can just put that thing in the oven whole, and then probably for like an hour, and I would probably baste it in some olive oil, and then you can cut it open and do what you want with it. After that, you can season it, scoop out the seeds. Once it's a whole lot easier to cut when it's soft. Rosemary is one of my favorite spices. This simple recipe comes from the New York Times. You would think I wouldn't even need to go looking for recipes for how simple this one is, but I don't really buy squash. My friend gave me this one, so I was just looking up ways to cook it. And I knew I didn't want to do soup. I've done soup a number of times, squash soup, and I think it tastes better when it's roasted. The more I eat this, the better it tastes. I just got a little snack-sized portion because I wasn't that hungry. I wonder if you can eat the skin. I wonder what squash pie tastes like. I guess you gotta be a real squash eater. But you know what? Squash is one of those vegetables that when you don't know what to cook, you can just pop one in the oven. And there you go. You got your meal. You can scoop out the seeds and stuff it with some ground meat, some quinoa, some peppers and tomato sauce like I did. And you've got like this meal in a squash bowl. That's quite amazing. It's an acquired taste. Like soy milk, the more you drink it, the more you eat it, the better it tastes. Let me taste this here. The skin. Hey, the skin is edible. Well, isn't that great to know? if you like what I'm doing here, like and subscribe, donate to the channel. And if you're interested in collaborating on each other's social media and platforms, hey, let's talk, because each one help one, right? We can all help one another get to where we want to be. There's no competition because there's more than enough, more than enough, more than enough. And also, if you have any type of product or service that you want me to showcase and try out on my channel, I'm interested in that. So let me know. Let's talk. Let's talk. It doesn't have to be food or food related, although food is definitely welcome, you know, especially in the form of gift certificates. But you know, I like weaves, hair pieces, extensions. So if you've got any of that, especially like real human hair, that's the kind that I'm interested in. Oh, this one, by the way, is called Kinky Straight, which almost matches my own leave out. Like where you see the part, all of that is mine. I know on the video you can't really see like the lines of demarcation. Plus, with mousse, the key is to let the mousse stretch your hair out and set. And then I use that fine brush, and I mean I brush. It still doesn't make it completely flat, so that's when I have to tie my scarf and really tie that thing tight and let that scarf set it for a few minutes. Depends how much time you have, but I would say if you have at least 10 minutes, and then I usually go about whatever I'm doing. I finish my cooking, I finish getting dressed, and by the time I'm ready to walk out the door, that's when I undo my scarf and set it. Sometimes I even wear the scarf to work, you know, especially in cold and inclement weather. It doesn't look, you know, it depends, like it has to be the right scarf. Mine looks like a scarf for, you know, winter, for inclement weather. So it makes sense for me to have a scarf tied around my head when it's cold out. So in the way I have it tied, it's not like, you know, some mammy in the backyard type of scarf. So anyways, yeah, you can make it work. Also, if you have any kind of jewelry you want me to showcase, makeup, tops, clothing, this happens to be from J. Crew Factory, by the way. My dime, my own dime, my own dime. I would tell you if anything was sponsored. I'd be proud to tell you, but hey, it's time for the next fun part of the video where we focus on getting better and better every day in every way with the help of this How to Develop a Winning Personality book, because people skills are the true quality of life. Alright, yay, we're on chapter 12. It's called Must You Leave? Here's Your Hat. Must you leave? Here's your hat. I have always been puzzled by a contradiction in American life. We are by nature a gregarious people, perhaps the most gregarious in the world. We are known for visiting back and forth on a colossal scale, for calling one another by our given names on the briefest acquaintanceship, for joining clubs and schools and associations and causes at the drop of a hat, for congregating at rallies and meetings and concerts and theaters and athletic fields in huge numbers. And yet, in spite of all this frantic togetherness, we have more lonely people per square mile than you can count. The only thing that can account for this contradiction, it seems to me, is the fact that we are just as much apart when we are together as we are when we are alone. Our human contact is superficial and unsatisfying. We meet on the surface rather than in depth. We take the shadow and miss the substance of companionship. In brief, we don't seem to understand what this togetherness we are always talking about really means. The search for companionship reaches the zenith of absurdity when we gather together in a darkish room before a television screen, thus eliminating even the slight bond of empty conversation. In this chapter, we shall attempt to remedy the situation, at least in your home and in the homes of the people you visit. We shall take steps to make you the sort of host or hostess whose guests and you yourself are not merely going through the motions of visiting together as a sort of meaningless ritual, but are so thoroughly savoring the companionship that all of you will want to repeat the experience again and again, and to make you the sort of guest who will be so satisfying to your host that whenever they get up a guest list, your name will be the first to pop into their heads. Washington Irving described true hospitality as the breaking through the chills of ceremony and selfishness and thawing every heart into a flow. There is an emancipation from the heart, he said, that cannot be described, but is immediately felt and puts the stranger at once at his ease. And Clarendon explained that it is not the quantity of the meat, but the cheerfulness of the guests which makes the feast. These pearls of wisdom are precious, and they should be kept always in mind when you have guests at your home. The trick, however, is to know how to thaw every heart and make the guest cheerful. You cannot accomplish it merely by willing it or by the goodness of your heart. You have to go about it with a measure of technique as well. Your life as a host, we shall use the word for both men and women, though perhaps it would be more suitable to use the word hostess, since more entertaining at home is done by women than by men. Will encompass two major phases: one, being host to one or two guests; two, being host to more than two guests. We can dispose of the first phase with comparative dispatch. When one or two people come to visit you, the demands upon your attention are so narrow that there is practically no problem. It is easy to make guests happy when they can have you completely to themselves. All you have to do is feed them, talk to them, listen to them, laugh at their jokes, and cluck your tongue at their sorrows. No visitor can expect or hope for or even want more when the party is so small. Formal plans of any sort would be absurd, so you can hardly fail to be a successful host to one or two visitors. On the other hand, anybody can be a good host to one or a couple. So unless you have an exceptionally scintillating personality, you will never gain a reputation as a host by limiting yourself to one or two guests at a time. This is not to say that you should always attempt to entertain on a larger scale. Having one or two dear friends over for an evening can be one of the most satisfying experiences for all concerned. However, we must always keep in mind that our purpose in this volume is limited to action that will help to develop your personality and solve problems of loneliness. There are no such problems connected with dear and intimate friends. We are concerned here with the effort to bring more intimately into your life people who are not already close to you, and this can be accomplished more readily in terms of hospitality by entertaining on a slightly larger scale. How large is scale? That depends. It depends on how much room you have, how much you can afford to spend, how much help you can get, and how much energy you have. In addition, it depends on what you are trying to accomplish. If you are merely interested in paying off a number of social obligations and you have a large home and lots of money, and if you don't care whether your guests enjoy themselves or not, you can entertain 100 people at one time, wipe the slate clean, and go to bed satisfied with yourself. Perhaps a number of your guests might have a very good time, but even if they did, it would be only vaguely related in their minds with you. Interesting. I'm going to stop it there because it goes on and on, so we can save some for the next time.